All right, y'all, we are live streaming from day one of the White Privilege Conference. I'm here with the man, the founder. Tell us who you are and why has this day been so important to you? What were your big highlights from the day?
I am the founder of the White Privilege Conference. Eddie Moore Jr. is my name, and I'm excited to tell y'all that you have got to come to the White Privilege Conference because we're live. So I got to talk a little loud. Listen, the White Privilege Conference is going on right now. Why do you need to be here? Because you got to go beyond diversity work. You got to look at issues of systems, of organizations, of institutions. We can't just be talking about kumbaya diversity. Can we get along? Not just belonging, not just inclusion. Not that they're bad, but we got to do more than that. So I'm here at the White Privilege Conference, and this is day one. Day two, actually, because yesterday we had institutes. Day two, we had our workshops. We had two fire keynotes today. And I am feeling a little exhausted because I just got through presenting my workshop, which is about interracial relationships. That is fire as well. So I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I'm tired, but I'm here with the doc, and she got me all
Pumped up, baby. Okay, listen. Tell us real quick. You had to identify one key learning from the first keynote this morning.
Yeah, one key learning
What was
from
the guy's name?
Jonathan Metzel. The key learning from Dr. Metzel is people are actually dying. People would rather die in support of oppression than be a part of community healing. That was the most
deep.
powerful.
It was deep. The last 3 minutes, I was just like, wow. So basically, he said we're better together. You know, we're leading a series called Better Together. And he was like, that sounds good, but it's not. It's not for everyone. We get that, but it doesn't mean we're not going to do the work. Do the work. Wow. What about keynote number 2? Who was the person?
Keynote number 2, Natalie Thorson, just pushing us, challenging us to not talk about love, but to be about love, which is not an easy task that she admitted to. That's my takeaway, is love, if done properly, is not easy.
So it's interesting you talk about love in a conversation around white privilege and race relations, which can be kind of edgy. We've seen some edgy. We've seen some heat. We've seen a little spice, right? But it's so important to lead with love. I mean, I kind of got teared up in the session with this author here, talking about the history. I mean, I have to almost bring my religious moments in. I got to lead with love in order to do the work in the way that I do. I lead with love. So why is love so important when you're having conversations around race?
Yeah, because there's been so much death and destruction, I believe. There's been so much harm and injury in reference to race and race relations and diversity and inclusion even. I think that the history of that violence, of that death, makes the present day discussion so much harder. Now, here's the thing though. You can't roll like that at the White Privilege Conference. We are not here to create beef, fam. We're not here to be in conflict, to win any kind of competition around oppression. So even if it ends messy at the end of day one, day two, the goal is by the time we leave here, family, community. It's like bowling in the neighborhood. It's like being on the court when you're bowling in the neighborhood. They talk about your mama, your grandma, your auntie. They run through the whole family tree. But at the end, we family, we community, we chilling, hanging out, laughing, telling jokes, being community. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Push, yeah. Challenge, yeah. Sometimes get a little mad. But if we're talking about what Natalie's talking about, love, that's gotta be the foundation.
That's gotta be it. I love it. And everybody's different. You know, like I come with a corporate mindset. I'm a little bit. People say I'm too black for some, but not black enough for others. You know what I'm saying? I'm not burning anything down. You know, I feel the pain, but I'm kind of like, we gotta be right here. So when you think about people being edgy, somebody go over here and talk to 400-year Holocaust in his session today. It got a little heated in a good way. In a good way. So what would you say to people who might be afraid of a little?
Stay home. My message to you is stay home. Because we have created a community here that is really for folks who are ready for tough conversations.
It's not for everyone.
And it's okay to say to some folks, this is not for you. Do a little work, get yourself ready,
Read the book. Read
and
the book.
then you can come for
Read,
this money.
read the book.
Because listen, if you go to a yoga class that's too tough, you may never come to yoga again.
Yes, or I've gone to a yoga class. I'm about 100 pounds overweight. I just do what I can do and keep it moving. So that might be the other thing that we say to people. You know, come with an open mind, come with an open heart. Know that we're going to lead with love.
Try something new.
Try something new.
That's right. Be open.
That's all you can do.
Be ready. Listen,
Expect some learnings.
let me use hot sauce as another example.
Oh, Lord Jesus, I love
If you take the food and it's too hot, right? Okay, you may never try to tell it again.
taste a little.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't go.
Right? The point is, this chili may not be for you.
And let's be clear, you created a wellness room because it's like people sometimes need a break. I felt a little choked up after his session.
This is it's a holistic process, man.
Right.
If you're fighting white supremacy, you gotta have the knowledge. You gotta be willing to engage, to be in conversation, to be learning. You gotta be willing to do stuff, but also you gotta take care of yourself. Self-care is critical to doing this work. We're seeing that on display right here. Right here.
So conference is over for today. We
What
just
is
happen
that?
to be in this little space. We're gonna walk real quick down here to one of my favorite authors. So you participated in the session that you can stand up for me, baby. Come on over here. So come. We're live, by the way, but I didn't mention that. Sorry. Come on over here. We're good. So we participated in your session today. What was it called?
Anti-blackness and its links to whiteness, white racism, privilege, and power. Understanding the roots of racism.
Understanding the roots of racism. We interviewed him earlier today. Anything you want to share about like why it's so important to really go back in history? You showed a lot of like documentation about laws and precedents and like legally there was an anti-black because we were slaves. I mean, there was like this concept. And no, I don't like talking about slavery. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But I actually felt kind of enriched. I felt actually invigorated after talking to you because I'm like, oh, okay. It's a validation for all the things that we're seeing today. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So the reason I go that far back and I start to read history that early is because you can see the motivation written into the laws. They're not being discretionary at all whatsoever. And so they create laws that say if you murder a black person and this over and over and over again, you'll be acquitted. If you appoint a person to murder a black person, you'll be acquitted. So there's no discretion at all whatsoever. It's not inconspicuous. It's very clear in terms of what they're doing within those first 2 centuries. That sets and shapes the legal, cultural, and moral landscape for the American value system. And so anti-blackness is the foundational principle for racial slavery. It's the foundational principle for white American identity. And so I'm not only questioning, but also using scholarly philosophies from people like Dr. Alva Toussaint, Dr. Bobby Wright, who said that white racism was a mental illness. In the relationship between whites and blacks, white people are psychopaths when it comes to black people. Because when you create laws and structures that say that you can rape black women because they're promiscuous, because they're immoral, all of these rationales and justifications, what about that is not diabolical? What about that is not maniacal? What about that is not psychopathic? What about that is not sociopathic? And so in my research and my work, what I share all the time as a foundational principle is that I'm speaking from a black perspective, from a black American perspective. I'm not seeking agreement from non-black people, and I'm not seeking agreement at all from white people, because in order to understand this experience contextually, you have to investigate both the legal history and you also have to have the lived experience of a black American person.
I love that. Oh my goodness, that is so good. So I just had to step away real quick. You could just set up right here so y'all can see this beautiful space. No, you don't need it. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your experience. You were in the session. Come back, Arthur Dante. Sorry, I just wanted to show the beautiful background. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what was your experience in that session today?
Well, I'm Kyron,
Yes.
and I work for an organization called TRHT, which stands for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation, right? So listening to this, it really made me reflect on my own identity. I've been reflecting this entire conference on what it looks like for my Black womanhood and what it looks like for my place in society. And listening today really informed me and like reassured me that I was never the problem. I was never the problem.
You got 15 amens over here in the corner, y'all. Keep talking, sisters. That's why we had to do this live. Dr. A! Dr. E! Sorry.
So I was never the problem. What they enforced on me, what they told me was inaccurate. And now you showed me that it's hundreds of years in the making. I didn't know specifically where it came from. But looking at these laws, I was able to identify, like, I see how that set the cultural norm. I see how that bred racism as early as pre-K for me. I had a traumatizing time growing up, being the only Black face. But now that I'm grown, that don't define me. And I don't adhere to that. I don't adhere to your standards, your norms, whatever you got going on.
Talk to the camera, girl.
I don't adhere to none of that. I'm beautiful, I'm Black, I'm proud to be Black, and I'm going to acknowledge my culture everywhere. No more diminishing my voice in spaces, no more trying to make myself be small so I can be comfortable so they can feel comfortable. No, you finna hear it. You finna hear me, and you finna know all of it. And that's just period.
Period. Period. Yes! I love that. What did you say about that? This is something to get outside. Come on up over here real quick. So did you hear what she just said? She transformed. She said, I know it's not me.
They were there too.
Come on, go ahead and talk a little bit about talk about this transformational experience people are having while I get some
Well,
other
again,
people.
the framework, the setup of the conference is for the experience to be different for people for all kinds of reasons. Some people may be brand new to the knowledge Dr. King is bringing forward, to the information, to the foundation, to the research. And yes, of course, you're going to be like a new person after you consume that. And somebody like myself that's had some of that research, I'm in there just feeling validated. Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, really having some nourishment applied to me after having to fight and scrap and push back. And so, again, the White Privilege Conference is a space or place that gives a different kind of nourishment to different people at different times in different workshops every day. So this is just one workshop of what?
It's about 15 at every 2-hour
45 workshops.
You know what? You
Per day.
inspired me. From 5 years ago, I first attended White Privilege Conference.
Oh my goodness.
That really kickstarted my journey and my activism, and my community service. It was then, after that conference, that I was so touched by and all of that.
What's
that
that? No one knows.
Ooh, I don't know what it is.
Young Action Project. That's the young people's version of how what we're trying to give young people an opportunity to start learning right now. Because I think, young people are far more advanced than the adults. And so this is it, right? Like, I believe this in my heart, and now it's like the flowers right here, ready to blossom.
That gave me a confidence over the past 5 years. And I've done so much privilege.
So more good trouble. More good trouble. Imagine where you would be now. You would have started at 16, man. Right? Right? Like, this is it. Like, and this is not just something that's happening to our participants of color. Like, the person leading out the gap now is a white woman who's starting in 8th grade. She's been consuming, learning, growing. And again, her experience is different than yours because she might not come in Dr. King's session and receive the same thing you received. Like, I didn't do the same thing you did. So again, I think the idea is to provide a perseverance of learning, of scholarship, of practitioners who are not here to attack, degrade, demean, but to speak truth. Right? Just because you speak the truth don't mean you attacking somebody.
There's something here for everyone.
Everybody.
There's something here for everyone.
everybody.
I love y'all. This is just day one.
Day one.
There's so much more to come. What are you going to get them excited about for day two? Who are the keynotes tomorrow?
Day two, we got a local, regional Latinx brother who's going to be really talking about some of the work he's been doing to get multicultural education into the curriculum. And some of what we're seeing now, CRT, anti-CRT, this brother was facing 15 years ago, a pioneer around the world. So I'm really excited. Curtis Acosta, Dr. Curtis Acosta is going to be here talking about the path, the journey that he's been on, really pushing, particularly in the education system, especially K-12, to kind of get diversity, get inclusion, get multiple education into the group.
I love that. So come on, you got a couple of keynotes each day. I'm not gonna let them leave till we do a little bit more. What's the second keynote?
Well, tomorrow we actually only have the one keynote.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna have 3 slots
Oh,
of workshop.
There's a special dinner too, right?
Tomorrow, now that's the thing that's gonna be extra fire tomorrow. We try to, at the White Privilege Campus, not only have scholarship, great scholars with great knowledge doing great workshops, we also have to have some culture, some art. We got some performances tomorrow that's looking at the history of Black women and the legacy that they've laid fighting, pushing, challenging white supremacy. That's what we got tomorrow night in Black Women Walking, put together by my good friend Kevin Taylor, who actually lives in New York, works off Broadway, spent some time in Arizona, but his roots are in Iowa, which is a big part of where the white British house got started is in Iowa too. So it's good to welcome this brother into the community, and he's gonna give a fantastic event for those folks who are gonna be here tomorrow night for the celebration dinner, which is kind of unique because people wonder why isn't it celebration? Why isn't it liberation? Because after 2 days, we want people to celebrate. You know, because it's, I mean, as you know, these workshops can be heavy. So after 2 days, we want to celebrate you made it. But let's not forget there are people who can't even eat right here in this city, folks on the street. So we want to remind people of liberation still being the goal for all of us. Because what we're experiencing is some real privilege, even being at that dinner tomorrow night. So that's why we combine celebration with a reminder of the liberation that's still ahead.
I love it. And then you got the last day is Saturday.
I can't give up nothing on Saturday. I got to keep quiet because I got something for you on Saturday, but you got to come back tomorrow for the recap, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about Saturday.
I like it. He's good. He's good. Y'all, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the 24th year of an experience that is continuing. So next year you're celebrating 25, and then in year 26, I'm here kind of the advanced team for you coming to Washington State. I'm part of the National Black MBA Association Seattle chapter. I'm representing PLU, Pacific Lutheran University. You were part of the People's Gathering. Tell people, because again, you know, we're going to flood the streets of Washington with this building up continuously about the Privilege Institute, not just the conference, but the institute. The institute is about strategic learning, continuous learning. Why is that so important?
Yeah, because again, I think this has been one subject that's been unexplored in collection, in collaboration, in partnership. Now, we've had a lot of diversity stuff, a lot of inclusion stuff. And again, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying there needs to be more focus on white supremacy, white privilege, and other forms of oppression, and how they've been systemic, institutional, and even individually impacting us across all of our communities. And so what we're trying to do, even in organizing the conference, it's a community effort. It's not just me. Now, I love the attention. I mean, I look fly, talk fly, and I kind of like it at times. You know what I'm saying? But really,
gotta get this out.
but really, to be serious, fam, to be serious, this is a collection of people. It's a community of people, and it's a diverse community of people as well. Today, we just have to have some spectacular folks of color here represented, but we got a collection of people here at the conference every day, every workshop, pushing, challenging, ready to take action around white supremacy, white privilege, and other forms of oppression.
That's it, y'all. Y'all tonight. Thank you. Yes.
You do be